everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be showing you how to make a crochet ottoman, also popularly known as a floor poof right now, or poof, however you want to say that. So this has actually become a really wonderful pattern in my opinion, because it works up surprisingly fast. I was a little worried about that, considering the size of it. But anyway, it's a great pattern. I hope you enjoy it, and let's go ahead and get started. So for the materials, you're going to be needing obviously a pair of scissors. I'm using a 9mm crochet hook and Bernat blanket yarn, not baby blanket. Sorry, that's a different pattern I'm working on. Bernat blanket yarn. You don't have to, but I would recommend some stitch markers. And you're going to need some polyfill. That part I'll show you when I'm stuffing it, when we get to that part. There are links in the description below for all of the materials that I have used. If you want to go ahead and order and have it shipped to your house, or if you just want to have a look at what I purchased and you can find it in a store that's near you, whatever you prefer. But I have put links so you can see the actual products and the product descriptions of everything that I have used. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin by making a magic ring. So you're just going to drape the yarn over your 4 fingers like this, wrap it around and cross it over. Just hold it in place gently there. And with your hook, you're going to go under this first piece and over that second piece and pull up a loop. Very carefully, because it is kind of tricky. It's a little bit loose. You're going to go ahead and chain 1. Okay. And now we are going to work 10 single crochet into the magic ring. So you're going to put your hook right in the middle of the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. And that's a single crochet. So you're just going to go ahead and do that 10 times right into your magic ring. And once you've done 10 single crochet, come back. So pause your video, do your 10 single crochet, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished working your 10 single crochets into your magic ring, you're going to take that little tail end of yarn there and just pull it tight to close the ring. And then right here is your chain 1 space that you started your round with. So you're going to close with a slip stitch. Sorry, let me slow that down. So you're going to close with a slip stitch. So push your hook into that chain 1 space, yarn over, and pull right through both loops on your hook. Okay, so now we're going to begin our next round. We're going to chain 1. And here is where I would recommend, because especially working with this yarn, it could be a little hard, could get a little bit tricky to see your stitches easily. So I like to use a stitch marker to mark my chain 1 space. So I know that this is exactly where I start and end my round. Okay, so now we're going to work 2 single crochets into every single stitch all the way around. So you're going to push your hook right through that first stitch there. And remember that when you're looking at your stitch, make sure that you have the full stitch on there. It should be that little V shape. So push your hook right through the full stitch and work your single crochet. And then going in that very same stitch, you're going to work another one. Okay, so you're going to go ahead all the way around, working 2 single crochets into every single stitch. So by the time that you get through with this round, you should have a total of 20 stitches. So go ahead, pause your video, work your 2 single crochets in every stitch around, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round and you're back here at the beginning, you're going to find your little stitch marker if you used one, otherwise just locate your chain 1 space. And so in that chain 1 space, you're just going to close your round with a slip stitch. A little stitch marker right there. And we're going to begin our next round with a chain 1. So I am going to take my stitch marker and work it up into my next chain 1 space. Okay, so now for this next round, we're going to work 2 single crochets into the first stitch. And 1 in the following. 2 in the next one there. And 1 in the following. And you're just going to keep on going all the way around, alternating between 2 and 1, 2 and 1. So you're just going to pause this video, go ahead and finish all the way around. And by the time that you get to the end of this round, you should have 30 stitches, okay? So go ahead all the way around and working 2, 1 in the next, 2, 1 in the next, and then come back. Okay, so now that you finish that round, you're going to find your chain 1 space, close with a slip stitch, and chain 1 to begin the next round. Move your stitch marker up. And now we can start our next round. So we're going to work 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the following, and 1 single crochet in the stitch after that. 2 in the next one. 1 in the following stitch, and 1 in the stitch after that. So you're going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around, working 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, all the way till you get back to the beginning. You're going to close with a slip stitch and chain 1. And by the time that you finish this round, you should have 40 stitches. Okay, so now that you finished that last round and you closed with the slip stitch and did a chain 1, we're going to start the next round now. So you're going to put 2 single crochets into your first stitch there. And then you're going to work 1 single crochet in the following 3 stitches. Okay, into each of the following 3 stitches. So that's 2 in the first, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. And you're going to do that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. And by the end of this round, you should have a total of 50 stitches. So go ahead and do that round and then come back. Okay, so now that you finished that last round, and of course you close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and I actually forgot to move my stitch marker up, so I will do that right now. And now we're going to move on to our next round. So you're going to do 2 single crochets into that first stitch, 1 single crochet into the following 4, 3 and 4, 2 in the next, and 1 in each of the following 4. And you're going to just continue all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and by the time that you finish this round, you should have 60 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now we are going to, this next round is a little bit different. It is still an increase round, but we're just slightly increasing. This will be our last increase round, and it's going to be slight, so it's not really following the trend that we just did. So we're going to go ahead and do, 2 single crochets into the first stitch. And you're going to work 1 single crochet in each of the next 11 stitches. And then 2 in the following, 1 in the next 11, 2 in the following. You're going to go all the way around, close with a slip stitch and chain 1. And by the end of this round, you should have 65 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so for this next round, you're just going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. And when you come back, we will be doing another, we will be beginning increasing again with our rounds, but it's going to be a little bit different than the way that we started out. Okay, so so you could just go ahead and work, oh, I forgot to move my stitch marker up. Work 1 single crochet into every single stitch all the way around. And of course, you're going to end your round with a slip stitch into your chain 1 space, and you're going to begin the next round with a chain 1. And because we're only working 1 single crochet in every stitch around, you should still have 65 stitches by the time that you get to the end of this round. Okay, so go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you finish that round, we're going back to increasing. I mean, this is a huge floor poof, so there's going to be quite a bit of increases, but it's a little, we want to maintain that shape that you saw. So it's a little bit different than how you might typically be used to increasing. That's why the stitch counts kind of, at the beginning, we had a bit of a pattern happening with the way that we would increase, and now it's a little bit different. But in case you're wondering, that's why. We're trying to keep that consistent shape that's gradual. And this is the best way that I was able to figure out how to do that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next round here. We are going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then in that 13th stitch there, we're going to work 2 stitches into that. Okay, and now you're going to do 1 in each of the next 12, 2 in the following, and you're going to do that all the way around. You're going to close with a slip stitch in your chain 1 space, and you're going to chain 1 to begin the next round. And by the time that you finish this round, you should have a total of 70 stitches. Okay, so now that you finished that last round, we are going to begin our next one with 1 single crochet into each of the first 9 stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 in that 10th stitch there. We're going to work 2 into that 1 stitch. Okay, we're creating kind of a subtle increase. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and continue that all the way around. 1 in the next 9 in each of the next 9 stitches, 2 in the following, 1 in each of the next 9, 2 in the following, and you're going to do that all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and by the end of this round you should have 77 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. All right, so for this next round you're going to work 1 single crochet into the first 10 stitches, 2 in the next, 1 in the each of the following 10, 2 in the next, 1 in each of the following 10, 2 in the next. You're going to do that all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and by the end of this round you should have 84 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so for this next round you're just going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and because we're only working 1 stitch in every single one around, by the time you finish this next one that you're about to begin, you should still have 84 stitches in total. Okay, so go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so for this next round, you're going to single crochet 1 time in the first 20 stitches in each of the first 20 stitches, and then you're going to single crochet 2 in the next. You're going to single crochet once in each of the next 20 stitches, 2 in the next, and you're going to do that all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and by the end of this round that you're about to do, you should have 88 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you finished that last round, we are going to single crochet 1 time in each of the first 10 stitches, And then we're going to single crochet 2 in the following stitch. We're going to single crochet 1 in each of the following 10 stitches and then 2 in the next. You're going to continue that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. And by the end of this next round, you should have a total of 96 stitches. So go ahead and do that round and then come back. Okay, so now that you finish that round, you are going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. By the end of this round, you should still have 96 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you finished that round, you're gonna go ahead and repeat the last round that you just did. So just working 1 single crochet into every single stitch all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. You are going to do that for the next 22 rounds. So for 22 rounds, you're going to do the exact same thing you just did for the last round. So each of these next 22 rounds should all have 96 stitches each. And if you have not been using a stitch marker during these first few increase rounds, I would highly recommend using one now to keep track of your 22 rounds. You don't have to, if you don't have this, you don't have to have that. You can use whatever you want as a stitch marker. You could even use a different color piece of yarn and just put it through and maybe tie it loosely, just so that you can keep track and make sure that you are able to remember where you've started these next 22 rounds. Okay, so go ahead and work those next 22 rounds, working 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, close the slip stitch, chain 1 for each round. And when you have done that, then come back and I will show you the next step. Okay, welcome back. So now that you have finished those 22 rounds, we are going to move on to the next step. So what we're going to do now is a single crochet decrease and then a single crochet once in each of the following 4 stitches. So the way to do a single crochet decrease is you're going to push your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and holding the loop on your hook, you're going to push your hook through the next stitch beside it. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You've now got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all of them. So what we've essentially done is we've taken these 2 stitches and we've turned them into 1. Okay, so that's a single crochet decrease. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. That's 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do another single crochet decrease. So push your hook in that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, push your hook in the next stitch beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So now you're going to work 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches, do a decrease. 1 in each of the next 4, do a decrease. You're going to do that all the way around, close with a slip stitch in the top of your chain 1, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished doing that round of decrease, you should have a total of 80 stitches now. We are going to go ahead and do one more round, the exact same as the one we just did. So you're going to do your single crochet decrease, then single crochet in each of the next 4. Single crochet decrease, single crochet once in each of the following 4. By the time that you finish that next round, you should have a total of 65 stitches. Okay, so now that you've finished that next round of decrease, we're going to stop here. So pull your hook out a little bit so that your stitches don't come undone, because we are going to move on to the step of stuffing it. This is a good time to stop and stuff your ottoman or floor poof, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to stuff it right now, and then we will get back to finishing it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and get myself positioned in a better way that you can see me stuff this. So right now what you want to do is gather your polyfill or your oiled pillows, blankets, towels, whatever it is that you're going to be using to stuff it. Go ahead and gather that and then come back. Okay, so I'm here with my crochet floor puff or ottoman. And what I've done is I've taken a couple of old pillows and I've just cut this outer pillowcase off. And so now they look like this. It's just some stuffing. So I use that. That's my little secret to really fill it without having to go too crazy and use too much, because it can get costly for the polyfill. This is the polyfill just from my local craft store. And you can get it online as well. I've included some links in the description below. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is just stuff this. So if you use some old pillows or blankets or towels or anything, that will save you on using too much of the polyfill. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is just sort of roll it tight, and you wanna kind of get it positioned in a way that you can stuff around it, okay? So literally, and I'm just gonna show you how I put it in mine. And mine's empty right now. This was just the easiest way for me because you want it to be really as firm as possible. And you don't want it to be all lumpy. So you will need some polyfill. You can't avoid that part. But if you just kind of stuff it like this, okay? And then what you're gonna do, sorry for the noise while I'm opening this bag, but you're just gonna grab some handfuls of the polyfill and just start to push it and stuff it right underneath the pillow section, or blankets or towels, whatever you're using, and then all around the sides, and you're gonna really cram on the top as well, okay? So just go ahead and work on stuffing that and then come back and we will finish up. Okay, so now that you've finished stuffing your floor poof, it should be really very, very tight. So if it's loose or anything, just push pause and keep on stuffing it. And it's better for it to be, you see how mine is kind of overflowing? That's a good thing because you want it to be really, really firm, okay? And so it is a little awkward now while we finish up, but believe me, it's worth it because you will get that look that you're trying to accomplish. And you will probably need to stuff a little bit more here and there. Like, see right here, I'm leaving myself a little room so I could work with it, but I will need to stuff some polyfill around as I go. So just make sure that you're being mindful of when you need to stuff more, stopping and doing that, okay? Before you fully close it all up. So we're gonna go ahead and work on the next step here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work a single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're gonna do a single crochet decrease. Okay, and then we're gonna do a single crochet in the following stitch, and then another single crochet decrease. And you're gonna keep doing that, just alternating all the way around. You're gonna close with a slip stitch, chain one. By the time you finish that round, you should have 44 stitches. So go ahead and finish that and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, we're gonna begin this next round with a single crochet decrease. And then a single crochet. And when you see that happening, because we're decreasing by so much, there might be a bit of a gap, just give it a tug. I know it kind of plays around with the tension a bit, but trust me when I tell you that's going to keep the stitches nice and tight and close together. And it's going to give you the effect that you saw in the picture that brought you to this pattern. So go ahead and keep alternating around. So you started with a single crochet decrease, then a single crochet decrease, single crochet, all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain one. And by the time that you finish this round, you should have 29 stitches. Sorry, I wanted to check my pattern there for the stitch count. So by the time you finish this round, you should have 29 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now for this next round, you're just going to repeat the one you just did. You're going to do a single crochet decrease, single crochet decrease, single crochet, all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain one. And by the end of this round, you'll have 19 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. All right, so now that you finished that round, you're just gonna go ahead and work one single crochet in every single stitch all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain one. So because you're just doing one stitch in, one single crochet in every stitch around, you're going to have the same stitch count as the last one of 19. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you've done that, for this next round, you're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch and then a single crochet decrease, single crochet in the next, single crochet decrease. And by the time that you finish that round, you should have a total of 13. Okay, so for this next round, you're going to single crochet one time in each of the first 3 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 1, 1, then a decrease, 1 in each of the following 3, and then a decrease. So go ahead and do that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. Okay, so now by this point, I'm sure that you're feeling like it's getting so awkward to work with. It's getting super tight. Don't worry, this is the last round of decreases to close up this gap. So this is a good time to go ahead and just kind of shift everything around, stuff more in the middle if you want to make sure that it's really, really firm, because after this next step that we're going to do, we are going to close it up. So if you want to pause the video and take a moment just to really like squish it around and make sure that it's a nice shape and that it's stuffed as much as you need it to be stuffed, then we're going to move on to this next step here, which is going to be, you're going to work 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then a decrease, single crochet in the next, and then a decrease. You're going to do that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to close it up. Okay, so now that you finished that round, you're just going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and come back. Okay, so now that you're done, you can take your stitch marker out if you've been using one, and you're just going to go ahead and pull a long tail end through, fasten it off, and pull the rest of that bit through. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook and you're going to go in the first stitch and just pull that through all the way. The next stitch, you're going to go from the inside, push your hook through, and pull that right in. Okay, and then from the outside, so you're just going to go weaving in and out with your long tail end of yarn until you get back to the beginning. So go ahead and do that and then come back. So now that you've finished that, you want to kind of pull this, give a little stretch just to make sure that it's not too tight, because your string can just totally rip. It's happened to me. Believe me, it's infuriating. And you're just going to very carefully pull your yarn like a drawstring to close up that hole. Okay? So once you have that closed up, you're just going to take your hook and just weave it through, and it couldn't even hurt to go ahead and go in and out of a couple stitches. Don't worry, this is the bottom. This is what's going to be on the floor. So I see what I did there. I pulled I pulled some through, and I'm just going to pull the yarn through the middle there, because just to really secure my tail end while also keeping the opening closed. Okay, and just go ahead and weave that in and out until you're happy with it, and then you could just cut off the excess that's left over. And you're done. This is what the part that's going to go on the floor. So I'll just show you what I do here. So I've done that now. I just cut that off, and you can just push it in. And you're done. You're just going to flip it over to reveal the top of your crochet ottoman / floor poof, whatever you want to call it. That's it.